You made it.
A quorum.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike. You're a little chilly out there.
It's cold.
All right. I'm gonna try to.
That's not the way AMC says you're supposed to dress for this weather, is it?
It is not. I'm in.
Well, you've got a red
all
hat
camo.
on. When does hunting season
All
start?
you gotta do is put a
What's
hood.
that?
When does hunting season start?
Oh, it already did,
Moose
didn't it?
season is over.
Yeah, I
and-
think they're shooting deer or something.
Yeah, I think hunting season started. If it hasn't started this week, it starts very soon.
Okay, because I know in Maine it started.
Um,
So that's why, I'm almost afraid to go up the mountain.
Yeah.
Because I never
That's
seem
a
to have anything
scary
red
time
on
to
me.
be out
Yeah.
there.
I have never understood that.
What, hunting?
Yeah.
No, neither have I.
Well, no, I just don't understand why we all have to do something for one sport.
Yeah. Why we all have to be scared.
And if
to
it
go out in the
were
woods,
like
yeah.
cross-country skiing, I don't have to wear a special color and
Yeah.
worry
Like, the
about
other
getting.
thing that I always thought was kind of freaky is, okay, you're gonna put orange on when there are orange leaves out there, but
Yeah.
I guess if the season doesn't start, although they seem to start like with the musket,
Colleen's
bow
Colleen's
hunting.
dad
Gonna-
says that if you wanna make it fair, give guns to the deer and the dogs.
Hank, I'm gonna go ahead and open up the meeting for you. Okay, I know you've been shooting anyway. What do you do, edit?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can edit that stuff out.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks. Yeah, we're just, us shooting the crap.
So are you taking minutes or?
Well, no, I was gonna, top of my list is ask somebody to take the minutes for me.
Okay, so long as you don't mind me doing them, I'll do
You,
them.
you okay?
Yeah.
Doing, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
No, I can't
Unless
tonight.
Dave would like to do it.
Only,
I
Yeah.
can't
I
write.
probably shouldn't do all the minutes.
Right.
One time I was criticized,
Oh, I'm criticized all the time, don't
For-
worry.
At home.
let's not go with whom, but I was criticized publicly for being the chairman and taking the minutes as if it were controlling and so I, you know.
Tell us we all didn't want to do it.
Yeah, I get.
It's not controlling,
It's
that's
not
easy
controlling,
Okay,
it's,
so you guys, it's 5:35, right?
As much as you'd like to do.
5:35.
yes.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got two sets of minutes to go over and approve.
Okay.
Actually, it was so long ago that I wrote them. I wrote them, so I didn't obviously find anything wrong with them.
Looks good.
It looks good. I don't know if it matters or not, just putting in for the work session that we decided that we would come out there on our own and do a little bit more work on our own. I don't know if that's worth putting in or
Yeah,
not, but just that there was ongoing work.
Picking at it.
Yeah, picking slowly away to
Okay.
ongoing work and not.
We decided that we could pick at it.
Yeah, so not official work sessions, but
And on the Rothstein Way, I'm not sure if it's protected by the Nature Conservancy. There was a deed restriction. I have to get a
Oh,
copy
okay.
of the deed.
Do
It was
we-
protected by a deed restriction.
Okay, let me get that since I'm, where is it?
Third paragraph. Okay, so I've got to get the
It
deed.
was protected
And I can
by
get it here, I just have to
a
remember to do
deed
it.
restriction. Was it still with the Nature Conservancy, you felt, or no?
I don't know. I
Oh.
will get a copy of it. So just, protected by a deed restriction.
A deed restriction, okay, I'll get
Yeah.
rid of Nature Conservancy.
Yeah. It's just that Wink was the one who
Okay.
knew about it. And he
And
works for
Pam would look
Conservancy.
into.
Yeah.
Okay. Amended. And then this is, we decided that we could work on this individually over the next coming weeks. Over the coming weeks?
yeah.
Okay. Great. Motion to approve the minutes of October 7th.
As revised.
As-
So moved.
Amended. Second?
Second.
All in favor? And then a motion to accept the work session minutes of October 11th as revised.
So moved.
Second?
Sure.
And all in favor? Good. Okay, on the falls, good job, everybody, thanks. We just have that pile of wood chips, and the biggest spot, I thought Brian was gonna ask him to drop it down lower, but it's not that big a deal. Wood chips aren't hard to move. But we have to, it's down that first picnic table.
The one
Okay.
closest down to.
Down,
Down.
yeah, and that's the longest distance.
Well, what I started doing.
But I can,
But what I
If
started
there's a
doing was.
wheelbarrow, you said you've got a wheelbarrow?
yeah, and I have one here if anyone wants to
Yeah.
borrow
Okay.
one.
But I made the path up going towards the green bridge,
Mm-hmm.
where it's rooted, and what happens is there's sand there, and the sand is actually, gets some pine needles on it, but because people walk on it, the pine
Spreads.
needles, get off the
Yeah.
path. So what I've done is, even though there weren't any roots there, I just basically spread them, fairly thickly,
Yeah.
down that. It looks kind of nice, because it's like the chips have like little bits of fur, fingers in them, and they smell good. It's like somebody came along and,
Johnny
they're really
Tipsy.
pretty, yeah.
Yeah, I thought I remember Margaret and Tom saying that they continued that.
They did,
That's-
too.
Making paths, like,
Yeah.
using the wood chips to create paths.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's what the plan called for. It was to,
Yeah.
I think it was to cover the roots, and I didn't get too close to the water's edge, because those are just
Yeah,
gonna
they're
get sucked
sucked
in
in
anyway.
anyway. But it also defines it,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Well, it was really funny when I was there. I could see a few people like walking on the path, and they just like walk off it. They go straight down. So,
But it seems to be working because they see I think the double flagging.
yeah, that's what.
They're not
Yeah.
walking on top. And then where the erosion control stuff is, it's just kind of obvious that,
Yeah.
should I walk on that?
People are amazing
Oh, I
sometimes, but
know.
But those steps in the middle of the parking lot.
Yeah, and what
Yeah.
makes it the best is what Jay did. He did, he did most of the work this year.
Yeah.
And the staircases, that makes all the difference in the world.
But I will say there's a check dam up there that's closer to the corner of the intersection with Valley Cross Road.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like it was blowing out in terms of, because I was working on the path down below, and like all the pine needles were all like, how they get bunched
We
up
had a
when they have a
huge
lot
rain.
of water coming
where,
down.
where is the check dam? Is it-
It's on the road,
Is it upstream from the bridge or
no,
downstream?
it's downstream, so it's,
Okay.
Yeah, I know what
Trying
you
to
mean.
picture it.
it's down below the intersection with Valley Cross Road.
Okay.
And it was just like coming straight down.
He put a bunch of crushed stone there to slow the water down, and
Okay.
it's helping, but he might have to go back up.
Yeah,
and-
I don't know if it's crushed stone, it looked more like
Well,
it's rocks.
yeah, whatever it is, it's
Yeah,
this size.
good sized rocks,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But he might want to go back and put
And
some
take
more
a check at, take a
rip
look
wrap
at
up
it,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, we had that one huge rain just a couple of days
Yeah,
ago, and
yeah.
that would have blown it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But otherwise, you can see where the water's coming down, from him sloping the parking lot and from putting in the other ones. Boy, he was able to,
Yeah.
course the water to save that embankment.
Yeah.
On that note, was while we're at the falls, we got a bill from Greg Howard, but is it about the falls? It's mostly, I think, about here. This is the final bill for this year from Greg, I believe. And this will be, conduct a visit to Ice Pond Brook Dam project, so I'm off the falls. Okay, it's all off the falls, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I thought it had something to do with it. No, but, okay, so back to the falls before I jump off. We need to just get back up there and move wood chips, and otherwise I think we're done for this year. And,
Did really good work, though.
yeah,
Really
yeah, and
got a
then
lot done.
we can do it little by little. In the meantime, so that solves that. In the meantime, we got on Friday another expedited permit. Again, Greg Howard did the work. It's up on North Hampshire Ridge Road. I showed it to Jay on Friday.
So it's an expedited kind of permit?
An expedited wetlands permit. We signed one about 2 weeks ago without going to the, everybody else.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was up on Juniper Way.
Yeah.
And this one is where again?
This one is North Hampshire Ridge. And, but the one up on Juniper, the three of us went up, that was the committee we set up. We looked it over, walked it. It was a tricky little piece of property, it was like an acre, but Jay knew right away where it was. He said there was a disputed culvert or something up there. He took a look at it, came back to me, we looked at it. It didn't look like a big deal, just putting in the driveway was a bit of a challenge. And so we signed it and put in, check with the road agent before you get a driveway permit. This one, he knew right where it was, and he said, "No, I don't even have to look, Larry, it's pretty simple."
How
said
far
that?
up is it? How far up New Hampshire Ridge?
I'll have to show you.
But who said that?
I'll show you.
Jay said that?
Jay,
Okay.
and it's a 6.5 acre property, it's gonna be a one-family home, they're putting in a driveway. Again, it's just, this one's simpler, it's just a culvert to put in a driveway. He said, "No, I already know which it is, it's actually an easy driveway to put in," and so we'll go take a look. But, you know, I always want everyone to know and be involved in it since
Yeah.
we set this committee up. And then we've already gotten back from the last one on Juniper Way that it was accepted and it's being processed. Where are we? Review expedited permit, that's that. Let me go on to expenses for the year. What I got, I had them print out, and I only did 2 copies, sorry. But here's where we are for the year. I'll just show you quickly. This is what we've spent. It's 2,200 and something. My eyes can't see that. 84? Okay. Our budget is 2,000. So until December 31st, what Warren does is starts taking money out of the Conservation Commission money market account.
Our budget is 2,000, you said?
Right, and we spent 2,284, so we went over that, we
Right.
spent that money. And we're now into the, and here's, as of the other day, it was, our balance was 22,584. But that 284 is already out of that, basically. That will be taken out of that.
Yeah, okay, so it nets out.
Yeah.
there.
And then what we have to spend is the rest of the Jackson Falls unpaid, which is this bill from Greg Howard. Excuse me, I'm calling it Jackson Falls, but it is not, it's Gray's Inn. The last monitoring bill with him. So we paid, so far on the falls, we put out 980, plus the 250 what I put out in seed, erosion control, hay. So,
So the 980
So
was
the
for Greg Howard, right?
so the falls is,
Yeah.
like, we've spent, what, 11, doing the math more than me,
30.
$1,200?
Yeah, 1230, yeah.
Dollars. And we're way further than I thought we would be.
Yeah,
What do we still have to do at the falls, money-wise? Very little. I mean, Jay picked up the big cost.
yeah,
He said, you know, I quick asked him, "So do we owe you anything?" You know, the crew, and he said, "The rocks I got, they were given to me by, I think, Dean or Rick Davis. They had them out in their field, and he saw those beautiful flat rocks, and he said, take them." You know, so they donated them, and the road crew did the work.
Yeah, they did a nice
So,
job.
yeah.
yeah.
And then what isn't paid, so I need a motion to pay Greg Howard's bill for $472.50, and that's the final, not the final, there'll be one more. Next year is the last year on the DES permit on Gray's Inn.
So motion to pay Greg
Greg
Howard.
Howard, $472.50.
$472.50.
So,
So moved.
so what was the 984? That was the proposal.
And 980 was the Jackson Falls proposal, yeah.
Right, no, I just added those numbers
Which is up
together
there.
up above you, see? See, I added,
There's, yeah, it's
Nine.
577 and
Okay, so basically,
402.
so we're making a motion to pay
$472,
$472.50 to Greg Howard.
Howard.
And that brings the total that we've paid to Greg Howard to 980? Is that right? Or is that in
Well,
addition
no,
to-
well, for the falls, it was 980, I got confused. And for the monitoring here,
Okay, it's
for the year would be
$472.50.
$472.50. That's the whole year's monitoring, at
Okay.
$472.50. And he's come back, just so you know where that's at, he's taken photos in the spring, the fall, and now the final
Okay.
plan. So we've got a motion, second, to pay him,
Yeah.
and all in favor. And that bill here it is he conducted a visit, this is June 4th, so he's going all the way back to June. He hasn't been paid for it. An hour and a half, including travel from site, telephone conversations, color photographs to document it. Again, on August 26th, he visited Ice Pond Brook site to inspect and monitor complete wetland restoration, take color photographs, discuss with Larry, including travel from site. On 8/27, he generated an email on his recommendations, which I brought to the next meeting, which were mostly the knotweed. On October the 16th, he conducted the final inspection, and again, color photographs, travel, and then he generated a report to the DES on the 18th with mounting the color photographs, printing, collating, compiling, and mailing packages, 2.5 hours. So that was the 472. And here it is, the report he sent to DES.
Okay.
And it basically is, we're pretty much complete. We just need to work on the knotweed, which, man, what a pain in the ass that knotweed is.
Oh, boy.
So, any questions on the budget? Oh, one more thing, and actually on the budget, is what I don't have in there, and why I don't, is we pay, our annual dues is the first one on the top, 210. Well, it's gone up $10, I see. We pay it now, but it doesn't get put into our budget. It gets taken out of next year's budget. So I'll pay this, we pay this in this month, and I don't know why, but it's for next year. So it will show up,
Okay, so it's this year's expenditure.
Expenditure.
Yeah.
that shows up next year, okay? So I need a motion to pay the New Hampshire Association of Conservation Commissions.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
and all in favor? So
New
that's
Hampshire Conservation.
New
Hampshire Association.
Association of Conservation Commissions.
That's our annual dues, $220. And finally, I think I did this, but just in case, I may have done it last meeting. Did I make a motion to pay Larry?
No, well, I don't think so.
For the erosion control?
No, but I don't know
And
if
it's
we
$250.15 it's gonna come to. I have all the receipts.
Motion to reimburse.
And that was for 3 bales of hay, 20 stakes, 50 pounds of Conservation Commission mix, and
I think it's
200,
Conservation mix.
what did I just say?
Conservation Commission mix.
Did I? Well, it became that.
Yeah.
And then 2 rolls of erosion control. On that note,
And how much was it in the amount
of, I think, $250.15.
250.15?
Yeah, on that note, I now have
Oh, yeah.
20 some odd pounds of conservation mix, 20, 30 feet of erosion control, and
Sure,
about
we'll need it again in the spring. Don't worry about
15
it.
wooden stakes. But I've always thought Gray's In garage with a little screened-in locked room, like an 8x8,
Be a good
we could
storage
eventually,
facility.
well, yeah.
Take that over as storage.
But the other thing the Conservation Commission is always need is like what do they call them? The weed hog or
Brush hog?
Yeah, brush hog, down the line and.
Or the thing, the tool that you can get that pulls out the invasive shrubs.
Or
You know,
something like
It's
that.
something like you just like. it
So
yanks
I've
it
always
out.
wondered,
weed eater.
we've never had
Tools.
tools.
Yeah.
And so we use our own, and which is fine, but right now, only one of us has a brush hog.
Right.
And it just seems to me that Gray's Inn Garage is sitting there, a little pen someday, and
yeah.
just like we could have a garbage can with the seed in it.
Right.
So I just
Just a
threw it in
little
my
wired off
garage.
area, a little-
Well, the squirrels could be having a field day with that seed, and
Yeah.
it's the town's.
Yeah.
It's not, yeah.
Well,
So-
you'd have to build a pretty good container to keep them out wherever you put it.
Put it.
You know, if you
Yeah.
just put it even in a garbage can, they'll chew through
Yeah.
the plastic and,
But you couldn't put it up in the highway
So
department,
this is
because they
something
probably use it
I just
themselves,
thought
so-
we should look at for like next year,
Yeah, it's a
or
good
it
idea.
would be a good investment
a good
for the
idea.
future of the commission, like the file cabinets.
and it wouldn't cost a lot of money, I don't
Yeah.
think.
No, I don't
You
think it
could-
would. Yeah, we could
We
just,
need some chain link fence or
Fence,
something
yeah,
to make a little cage.
right,
Yeah,
and just put a lock on it and,
sure.
you know, okay. So that's something we should talk about next
So
year.
we were talking about making the motion to reimburse Larry for materials for the falls in the amount of $250,
Okay.
15 cents.
And a second, hopefully,
Yeah.
and all in favor?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Okay, they're the three motions that I had to get out.
Okay, so the three motions were the minutes.
Oh,
the,
right.
The dues and the Greg Howard bill. That's
Right.
what I've got.
The
Was there another one?
only
So this is
bill
parking
that is
where-
not paid is Rick Davis. And I put a phone call into him. I know he cut up at Prospect, but we haven't received a bill yet. And that, what does it come in at? I think it was 1,600 or 1,400. Anybody have a memory on that? 1,200? Somewhere up there. And so that would be,
Is he going to put in an invoice?
yeah,
Is
of
that
course he would.
Presumably?
Yeah, I'm just surprised we haven't gotten it. That's, I think he probably cut last month, so.
Well,
Okay, so that's the only outstanding bill that I know that we have or any more expenses for this year. It was gonna be Rick Davis's, which we've paid every year for
Yeah.
3 years now. So, yeah, so we did pretty well. The sign cost, the grist mill sign was 900, just under. We've put out for the falls, 11 to 1,200, and we did a great job there. And then, that's about it.
And then we had the Conservation Commission Association dues, right? So
Yeah.
that was that. And then we'll have the Rick Davis thing.
And that's
So
And,
anything
the-
over $2,000 comes from?
we had the
which
grist
one?
mill. sign.
our conservation money market account, which has a balance of 22,584, and I'm telling you already that the 284 is gonna be out of that.
Right.
Right.
So we've got 22,3. I don't know how it's done or who does it, but it's probably done in December. If there were any
Taking out of
current use taxes,
We get
we'd
the
be
10%.
reimbursed.
We get the whole 10%
We
or
get
part of it?
50%.
50% of the
of
10,
the
okay.
current
We get
use,
5%.
so.
That's not bad.
So, last thing I have is the sign over here on Gray's Inn, Mystery Loop Trail.
Mystery Loop Trail, yeah.
Yeah, and here's what I did on it. I actually kind of had fun doing this. This is what Larry Garland gave us, was this right here, and then we all gave suggestions.
Yeah,
So here's what I came up with. And
thank you.
what that will do is if we, his map was,
A little bit.
yeah, a little
Confusing.
deceiving. Yeah, it was confusing. So if even drawing in the buildings in their proper location and changing the parking lot and starting the trail at the beginning of the trail,
Yeah,
and then I colored in
yeah, he had it, it's far easier to read it
like this.
this,
So we,
I think. I
yeah,
mean, even though, I'm saying not the writing, but the map orientation
Yeah.
here is much clearer.
Yeah.
Much clearer than it is like this,
do you not have the buildings?
for the average person.
Oh, you know what, I didn't give you the one with the buildings. I added buildings on this. So, and same with that one here.
Aren't there buildings on there?
No.
There's
Oh,
not on his.
hello.
Because I think
You-
what Dave
oh,
is
I've
saying
got-
is
oh,
that
I've got it
if you look
upside
at it
down.
from the road,
I'm saying if you,
Okay.
if you look at it
Yeah.
from the road,
Right,
what I'm saying is take all your buildings and everything, just turn the
Reverse
writing, turn the writing upside down.
I got
People
you.
look at
Literally
it.
turn it around like that?
Yeah.
Give it
So
a
when you get
180.
there, so when you
Okay.
get there, you're
Because
starting
most
out.
people starting out are gonna start out
Okay.
here at the town offices. And the natural way for them to look is,
Good point.
Forward.
Okay.
And that way they know, like, oh, I need to take a left here.
yeah,
Good,
exactly.
good point. So, because I did it upside down, what I did do is add trail continues to Nesselnook Farm property. I showed where the trail continues to the Thornhill Inn.
Yeah,
I put the bridges on. And then I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And what I'd like to envision, I forgot to bring the little sign in I cut, but I've got the sign out there.
okay.
And what I envision is having that, actually, the way Dave says, not the way I have it, you're right, is have the map, and then over here, a picture of the Gray's Inn. So the only thing on here is you are here parking the
Yeah,
buildings.
yeah.
And number 1, it will have a picture of the little covered bridge that went across the dam.
Right, right.
And it will have this was the dam for Ice Pond Brook
Yep.
that created ice. The number 1 thing should be a picture of Gray's Inn
Right.
itself. So,
Suggestion, in at Thornhill instead of Thornhill Inn, I believe. Isn't
Oh,
it in at Thornhill?
you are right, in at Thornhill.
And there's no E on the end.
And then
I
I
get
added,
corrected, Bobby corrected me on
huh, okay.
that. No E.
In at Thornhill, okay. And that's why we're looking at this.
Susan and May are good at that.
Yeah.
Number,
I should know better. Yeah.
okay, so 1, I don't even know why I have 1 and 2.
Well, you said
Oh,
both
1
of
was
them
gonna be the
said-
bridge, and it
And
was
Scenic
also gonna
Pool.
be the pond.
Oh, the pond.
Didn't you say one was gonna be the Gray's Inn?
Well,
One was
no,
supposed to be the inn itself.
well, I was gonna have start off with a picture of the Gray's Inn.
Right, that's
And-
number
and-
1.
And number 1 is actually the dam,
Oh,
see?
Oh, okay.
so you're gonna start off with a picture at the beginning?
Yeah, and then go down,
Okay, so
and then,
you've got a number 0, which is the Gray's Inn, is that what you're saying?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be, it should be what,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
that should be at top of the, say it's right here next to it.
yeah,
And it should be a picture of the Gray's Inn.
Right.
And this is the Gray's Inn property.
yep,
And then do a little history, but small. And then number 1 is the bridge,
yep,
and the skiing and the ice. And number 2 is the actual ice pond that was created by that dam.
yep,
Number 3 is the cement dam,
yep,
if we want to add it, and we think that it was to fill the swimming pool.
yep.
Number 4 is our
Pool.
vernal pool.
Then what's this big blue thing right here?
Well, see, that's what threw me in his map. That should be Ice Pond.
That's way too,
But Ice Pond is nothing but a wetland marsh now.
well, it's the right shape.
Well, yeah, I think that's what it is. I think that's supposed to be.
What it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it is no longer there, really, in blue. It's kind of green.
well,
You know, so,
you just label it former
Or say wetlands.
Ice Pond Brooks,
Normally on maps,
now
don't they-
wetlands.
it's
They
not a
usually-
bad
don't they usually
idea.
have stripes through them, like on a wetland map, isn't it a diagonal stripe?
Yeah.
for wetland
Say
area?
We could do that.
Former Ice Pond,
Yeah, like something like
now,
that.
We
now,
could-
now wetlands,
We could put the stripes through it
Yeah.
and just put former,
Ice Pond,
okay.
now.
I wanted to put as little on this actual map. That's why I went with the numbers.
Yeah,
Because it ended up getting like just full of,
Words.
yeah. So former ice pond. So number 4 is the vernal pool. Number 5 is the apple orchard. You could just say, 4 apple pies, stew, bum, bum, bum. Number 6 is the mystery house. Number 7 is the view of Mount Washington.
yeah,
And number 8 is the view of Black, not Black, but
Carter
Carter
Notch.
Notch, excuse me. And so what we need is verbiage. There's my buddy next to me here who's good at verbiage. But I would do something quick, shoot it over to you and have you,
Yeah,
do something like that. Okay?
that'd be, yeah.
Now, does anybody have the ability, of course I am computer illiterate, I have like postcards of Gray's Inn, and I have the picture, but how do I get them
On a computer?
on here? Yeah,
You can scan it.
Yeah, you can, yeah, but I can't because I'm computer illiterate. That's why if I were to give you,
If you give it to me, I can scan it.
Well,
okay, and you could put it together?
I can scan, I mean, you want a digital
The
copy
only,
or you want to?
yeah, the only photos we need is one of Gray's Inn and one of the little covered bridge.
I can do that, that's fine.
Yeah, can you redo, how about the one of the Gray's, the little covered bridge? It's a huge photo.
Yeah, I can shrink it down too. I'm sure I
Do
can
you know
scan
how
it
to
and
do
shrink
it?
it down.
Oh, okay, good. That's what I need. I need someone to do that.
And then, sorry, just to
Yeah.
backtrack a second. This is on the,
So-
this is on the kiosk.
Right.
And you've got Gray's in here. Where did you envision having the descriptions for each?
Well, right here.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Gray's in picture, little blurb, and then one,
one,
couple, like
boom,
one, two
boom,
sentences.
boom,
two.
boom,
Okay.
boom. Yeah, it shouldn't be, that big.
So are these gonna be on the kiosk or they're gonna be
Or
on this?
underneath it, one or the other.
They're gonna be, okay, on.
Yeah, and I've got it out in the car. I don't know why I forgot to bring it in. It's about this big,
Okay.
so this would fit there, and maybe that would be beneath it or
Yeah.
above it. And then we'd,
On the other side.
and this would, so for cost on this, I've got the 4x4, I cut it, I'm donating it, a piece of wood. Brian insists on putting shingles on this, so I'm gonna have him shingle this little guy.
Make sure you put this guy back far enough in the parking lot for when they plow.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
So I don't
oh, and on that note, good thing that you mentioned that. Actually, the only reason I haven't put the signpost in is I figured I should probably ask Tom Perkins, even though it's our town property,
Yeah.
but I should run it by him.
Just as a
And just
courtesy.
say, and say, here's where we're thinking about putting this, here's what we're gonna put,
Yeah.
what do you think?
You got any suggestions?
Suggestions, and Tom might have some,
Yeah.
and actually maybe saying that the lower loop is a ski touring trail might be a nice thing to mention in there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at on that one. And
Plus, you might want to put it on his new plan.
right. Oh, and then Larry Garland, he said that if we put a map together like this, maybe he could do some of this for us. I don't know, but you're right about flipping it upside down. Yeah. Yeah. Here I am looking at it upside down. I realize, yeah, that's the way it should have been all along. So that's all I got. Anyone?
Oh, I was just gonna bring up the,
Oh, okay.
Mary Howe, called me and she was concerned about the, it's basically the Black Mountain, I guess it's the snowmaking pond up there?
I think, yeah, it's a fire pond.
Yeah.
So Jay designated that as a fire chief, and I believed like a year ago that he did work on it, and that because it was a fire pond, he could pretty much do whatever he wanted to make it useful.
Yeah.
Is this about the sandbags? Is that what-
Yeah, and in the meantime, I guess there were complaints about sandbags and et cetera, and DES got involved, and you brought in a report that they
Yeah,
have.
well, I just brought in the paperwork that Mary gave me. I think her concern is that she just wants us to know what's going on. It seems like the permit's going through its process. Her concern is that it's a tributary of the falls, and it's part of the Wild and Scenic River designation. That's what she thought, she was
She's
telling me.
right.
And so, you guys can take a look at this when you want to. Basically, they have to get, I think, a dredge and fill permit, a few other things, to make it compliant.
Do we have anywhere what restrictions and requirements the Wild and Scenic River imposes on us? In other words, everybody keeps saying, yeah, it's Wild and Scenic River designation. What exactly does that prevent you and allow you from doing? Does that mean you can't go anywhere near it? You can't touch anything? What?
They came here about, God, maybe it is longer than I think, maybe it's 6 years ago, the Forest Service.
Okay.
And I might be the only one left on the commission at this point who remembers that. And this is a very unique wild and scenic designation. Most of them are taken out by state forests or national forests, but this was a little private town with a river running through the middle of it, and they made an exception for our town in 1980-ish, I don't remember. And so basically they wanted the town to have as much control as possible because it runs through the middle of the village. But there's the wild designation and the scenic designation. Anything in the village is the scenic, anything north up in Carter Notch is the wild. They're two different designations, it's well laid out. Basically,
Does it have to do with access?
well, the only
Part
thing
of
you
it is
can't do is touch the bank and the bottom. And the bank is defined depending on where it is, but 30 feet off the bank, we could do anything we want. As long as it's not on a steep
Yeah.
bank of the
Doesn't
river.
mean it's a good idea to
The
do it. You wouldn't
bottom.
want to do anything to
So,
screw it up anyway, but
This,
just curious.
they actually got in the river and put in sandbags to divert water,
Okay.
etc. And I believe that the road agent at the time felt he had all the right in the world to, and he may very well have, because he was trying to better a situation. The pond existed, and he was trying to repair a situation, but he uses it as a fire pond. So I don't know where they're at, but I know the bags been put in there for years. And that was to divert water into the pond. And in the wintertime, the ski resort used the pond. It got confusing because the landowner is one gentleman. He leases it to Black Whitney's in Black Mountain. And he also allows for the water to be drawn under his property for Black Mountain. So I haven't read, I don't understand, I haven't read this yet, so I don't want to speak without knowing what I'm talking about. But I sense there's going to be a permit for the pond, and there's going to be another permit for the drawing of water for the ski resort. But I haven't read this, so
That makes sense.
I'm speaking without.
Yeah, it says there needs to be a wetland standard dredge and fill application to reconstruct the culvert at the dam.
So that's
And
for the-
stabilize and, basically
Yeah.
do a lot of stuff.
I can't remember if it's on the town website or if it's in the white binder that we all got, but I know when I first joined the commission, there's a very long report that details pretty explicitly
What you can do.
on the Wild and Scenic River, the rinse of Jack. It might even be, there might even,
We all have a copy of the Wild and Scenic. I think I gave everyone a copy.
yeah, I remember reading through the plan at one point.
Yeah, and it's extensive and,
And it involved like a specific management plan for
Right.
the Wildcat, I think.
and it was supposed to be monitored by the Forest Service over years and all that basically never occurred.
Yeah.
And the plan is literally that thick. It also, oddly enough, has pictures of decks back out here on the falls again, and stairways and bridges across from the town from the town hall building over to the Wentworth. They actually recommended rebuilding staircases across the falls,
Really?
which is not exactly wild or, yeah. So,
But I think the idea is that Mary just is concerned, she wants us to be up on it.
And she's
to
right.
know what's going
Yeah.
on. Because it's in the process now, so nothing we're doing is going to cause any problems. We're just, paying
Screw up
attention.
I know some of the bags,
And it
she was
costs
very
money to the
concerned
town.
about.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you screw it up, if you do something we're not supposed to, it can end up costing the town money.
Well, were those huge square bags that ended up in the falls a couple of years ago, was that from that?
No, and that's a
like
little bit of
3 of them.
confusion.
They were
When Irene came
Yeah.
through, the bridge abutments on the Green Bridge had to be completely repoured, and he had to put in big, huge sandbags in order to get a footing in.
Right.
Yeah.
To
Okay.
rebuild that, and he had every right to do it.
And
I
no way-
think those bags probably, some of them got ripped up.
Well,
And-
you mean got moved into the
Yeah,
pools,
yeah.
yeah. Because I figured there's really no good way to get them out. So,
Not
just
easy.
went in with a, you know, a knife and periodically go in and just kind of like, you had to
Yeah.
keep cutting them to get the sand out.
And they don't cut easily.
No, those nylon
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
But that was nasty.
Anyone have anything else? Okay, as far as the falls, can anybody get up there and do, I know I can, I just have to kick my butt and move a couple wheelbarrows. What we can't do, I think, is leave a pile of wood chips next to the road.
No, we can't, because
And-
there are blueberries under there too, you know?
Oh, they buried blueberries?
Oh, I'm sure
Okay,
they did.
but
They're up there.
if it gets to where they're frozen solid, which it's getting close,
We could get
I'm gonna
Jay
ask
to-
Jay to just come up and scoop them out of there.
Yeah.
I can do some work this week or weekend.
Yeah,
I can have
yeah, I might be able to.
Okay, good.
Okay. So let's wait another week or two, and then if we can't do it,
Get
I'll just
Jay.
Because I
ask Jay
can't
to
do
scoop them
it
out
this
of there.
weekend, but I can certainly do it again the following
Trying to-
weekend.
Yeah, yeah, it's not getting warmer.
No, but it was good weather when I moved, when I
Yeah.
worked on Saturday.
Good. Anyone have anything?
Send an email out, just send an email out when you're gonna go up there with your wheelbarrow.
Oh, okay.
And ask, hey, tell anybody,
Oh, okay,
Okay.
join me,
yeah.
you know?
Well, one day I went up and I did the steep bank near the bridge.
You were having fun.
Yeah, I was having fun actually. But all of a sudden I realized, I got an hour or two suddenly, you know, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got a couple hours to kill and I said, I bet I can do this.
Yeah, I've just gotta stack woods in my own.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know,
mine
that's
is
the thing,
coming.
it's like you
I've
did stuff
got
at
a
your own
Ford,
house to
I've
do
got
it,
a
yeah.
Ford that's in a big pile.
Meeting adjourned?
So moved.
Adjourned.
Second, adjourned.
Second.
Good.
So,
Thanks, Hank.
can I leave this with you?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
told you it
add
would
to your
take long.
pile.
yeah, thanks. Actually, I would
But I
like
just
to.
wanted to get it on there so that Mary
Good.
knows that we're doing stuff.
Good.
You know,
No, I'm glad
gotta
you
pay
did.
attention to, because she's very passionate about it. You know? We
Yeah,
have-
no, I actually, I tracked her down. I had, she wanted to talk to me one day about it at the post office, and I like